They might be in that position. They're doing some weird stuff, but when they play a little bit more standard, it works out. What they've always excelled at as a team is being a little bit more of a macro-oriented team. They almost always will go out of their way to have a global, whether it's an Illidan with Hunt or whatever. It's always been a high priority. Imported in the blue, Donkeys R Us in the red, and this is the first game of a best-of-5 series. Abathur and Ariel are the first bans.
That leaves open a lot of options. Dahaka, potentially Malthael if we get there. I don't like Malthael as much on this map, but in the right composition, I think he's always going to be good. ETC we've seen high priority on. Again, we are talking about Donkeys R Us, so they might try and mix things up. Were they the team that ran Zarya the last cup? I almost want to say they were.
I think they did. Was that an Illidan game?
Might have been. It struggled.
Again, oftentimes doing some weird things. Now, if we rewind to Phase 1, imported support, one thing that people started to get really afraid of with them was Cho'Gath, right? And Cho'Gath really needs the Ariel to be effective. They ended up banning Ariel here, so not going to be the case. Cursed Hollow, not really the map for it either, but still something to think about throughout this best-of-5 series. With the Lieutenant Morales first pick, are you surprised?
A little surprised, but I feel like she's rising in popularity. The problem is that I feel maybe a little bit too early she can be countered, but then you can pretty much go into the double support if you try and counter too hard too early and show your hand. Maybe, I'm not sure what to make of this just yet. With the Abathur pick, obviously they don't want to have that heavy dive, that Illidan style dive, things like that, so to be determined, but you leave open a lot. The grenades are really good in these choke points on Cursed Hollow.
That's true. Grenades are definitely a thing. Ooh, my goodness. Imported. The first pick, Brightwing. Now, if there's a map for it, it's here, or Volskaya Foundry, right? Brightwing did get a little bit of love recently, and does do well against a lot of the heavy dive that you mentioned LZ Gamer loves to do. Go too deep on an Illidan, Brightwing's going to do well against that. But you see Medic and Illidan's probably not going to be the pick, right? We see a lot more Sonya play, things like that out of LZ and in other situations. That's always going to be a big question for us when we're looking at the draft for Donkeys R Us. Where is LZ Gamer going to be?
I wouldn't put the Illidan past you, though. Not quite. I mean, it's a little early. The Brightwing, of course, is there. That's a good counter. You could potentially have the Arthas picked up. So if you were going to do it, this would not be the rotation that you do it. So if we see kind of that melee style hero, then we kind of know the direction that they're going. But again, Dahaka still here. See if they play the safer route. I think that'd be a good pickup. They get the ETC Greymane.
Clean, solid start to the draft. You've got a potential global of ETC allowing them to make a lot of plays they like to play. And then Greymane is, of course, an amazing DPS. Bans now hovering. We've seen Uther Medic actually out of Donkeys in the past. So if Uther's banned here, there's a high probability we see a Tassadar ban. Just because Tass, Brightwing, Vala, there's a lot of good harmony there. Gives you the burst sustain you need with the shields. So there's the Uther. Do you agree with the Tass ban, or you think it's something else?
I'm working on some crazy strat thinking, maybe some medevac play. Oh. The ETC pickup I like because of the block party potential against Vala, but there's so much that you can do. Dahaka Malthael stands out to me if you want to get rid of the solo laner. You've got Brightwing, but I've got an idea right now.
Oh?
Just bear with me.
He's gonna wait till it's picked.
I want to wait till the I gotta see the ban.
5 seconds. No reason to rush picks.
Pretty safe. Pretty safe.
Pretty safe.
Imported support. I doubt we'll see the solo Brightwing.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I like this Tyrael ban.
I'm okay with it.
Like, I get it. Sanctification's great. Are they really doing like a mega dive comp?
I think Tyrael's highly underrated.
I mean, I can agree with that. Imported does have a solid Tyrael.
Imported is the one that will occasionally play
They're the
Deep,
only
right?
team that will still play Tyrael.
There's the secondary support, so they go the Arthas. They still need
Huh. So it's
the solo. So the Lucio could be a denial towards the Malthael.
this could be double support Rhaegar though on the side of donkeys.
Because the thing is, if you end up going Malthael against the Morales, who only has single target healing, that is terrifying to deal with.
Okay. We still need the solo lane, as you mentioned.
I feel like if they're afraid of the Malthael, then they pick up the Dahaka here for the isolation to try and get onto that Malthael when he dives that back line.
Yeah. Definitely an option. The LZ Gamer hero still has not been selected. It could be Dahaka. It could be Sonya. It could be Ragnaros. It could be Illidan. Illidan seems like a no-no against this composition.
Yeah, it seems like a big no-no against that composition.
It's
Sonya, I like the Sonya. I like where you're going with the Sonya, though.
I think that's the safe option.
They take the Malthael for themselves.
I mean, versus Sound Barrier and Polymorph and Howling Blast, I find it difficult. I like the Rhaegar a lot. I think it's going to give them the utility for the mercenary camps, the clear, and just good overall balance for the team. But not Dahaka and not Sonya. They choose the Malthael. And LZ is a great Malthael, right? But this draft is largely made to counter what LZ wants to play. The dive. The go deep and just try to outplay. And they've built a composition that slaughters that.
It is very tough to go into that composition. The Arthas, Lucio, Brightwing alone, they pick up the Zarya. So that will leave Brightwing as the solo. And I imagine this will end up being more of a 2-1-2 split with potentially... Even then, I don't know. I think they might just give up a little in the solos and just go 1-1-3 and just try and Zarya, Lucio, Vala this while Arthas and Brightwing
I expect
maintain top mid.
Yeah, I think, especially the opening of the game, those Zarya shields, they're just going to dive a tower and do their worst. But, all right, the stage has been set for Game 1, best of 5 once again, everyone here, as we load on in to Cursed Hollow. Imported support are the number 3 seed, only 15 points behind through the standings over what Donkeys R Us have done this season. I don't think either of them won a cup, though. I think it was all second and third places for them.
Yeah, it was Heroes Hearth every
And
cup
Players
after
Unknown.
the first one.
Yeah, Players Unknown won the first cup, and of course, Players Unknown are no more.
Well, here we go. We've got Feel the Heat Zarya is what we're going to be looking at, so we'll see how that stacks up, as it will be Ignition on Arthas, Specialty on Lucio, Draded on Vala, Swabs Magoo on that Zarya, and the Aware will be on Brightwing.
Their opponents in the red, Donkeys are us. We've got Elaheim playing the Medic, Jin on ETC. It's going to be Slice Blade in here as the Greymane. They're so piled up. It's actually Soy and Greymane, and Slice Blade is playing the Rhaegar. And last but not least, we've got LZ on the Malthael.
They're expecting the push bot lane because that's the boss lane. Little do they know, they're going to get psyched out a little bit. They're going to have a dive of their own, which works out well. You've got Lightning Bond Rhaegar. You've got Greymane, who's got really good push. But I think that in the long run, I don't know. This is just ripping through. But they're giving up an entire lane of XP, though.
Quick fort, or a quick wall. Much quicker than their opponents.
Yeah, but in a long run, I think is what scares me is that all right, they're now sending Malthael to the top, who has not very good anti-siege potential. And now they can walk forward with this composition of Zarya Feel the Heat, and they will start ripping through. But I'm surprised. Nice trade.
Yeah, it worked out very well for them, honestly.
For the moment.
If you end up just defending a Zarya push, it doesn't go well. So honestly, this has actually worked out. You know, it speeds up Kurosawa a little bit. Both teams just lose a fort on the opposite side of the map. As you mentioned, it's not necessarily the boss lane, so it's not going to be as much of a huge advantage, but it's at least even on both sides.
They're just going to rotate mid, do the exact same thing mid that they did there. And when you have Zarya, you can do that. Instead, we see the rotation up now will be met by Donkey's RS to try and maintain here. As they have a slight XP lead, they're going to miss out on some minions top, while the other team will miss out on some minions bottom, as those lanes are very pushed out.
Too risky to try to push in, just not really worth it. 2-minute marker, and we do have the giant camp spawning. Graded and Swabs waiting for that queue. However, while this is a often common play to see, that's not going to be the response we see for Donkeys R Us. They say, we know you want to do this, we'll just take the wall down. That camp's not going anywhere. They can throw someone back to collect it, but it is an early tribute. So, little unfavorable for Donkeys R Us having the early tribute because they don't have time to go get the giant camp, but they still got that wall down. And opening this space is really something that they want to do. The less structures on the map, the more opportunities they have to try to find those flanks, and that's just the way that DRU plays the game.
It's the way that they play. Lucio has been holding off Malthael the entire time. You see the mini-map, but all the action going on down here. The Aware should have the channel. Nothing to interrupt there, and that is a win. And it's almost a best-case scenario if you're on the side of Donkeys R Us, because now that top lane, that siege camp, it's not going to get any push value. You'll be able to respond to it, and it doesn't really do much.
That's true. That's actually a really good point. I mean, they've got plenty of time to make their march up there. Malthael's just taking the safe route, which makes perfect sense. Rhaegar has started the night camp on the red side of the map. And it's Brightwing versus Greymane.
Quite the terrifying matchup.
I'd say so.
LZ still defending against those Siege Giants, and Lucio continues to just boop them away. Camp picked up here by Sliceblade, and now all of a sudden, a 3-man root.
Not going to get the kills they were so desperately looking for, but that's still something. Notice the Hypershift Peekaboo. So Hypershift naturally doesn't get any value if you're always solo laning, but every time you're in a team fight, it's going to bring that on cooldown. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Phase Shield here. Commonly, you'll see the Brightwing go for Cleanse versus ETC. There's definitely a case for it, but we are in fact seeing Phase Shield for Brightwing. And this should be where she gets it herself, right? Yeah, both Brightwing and her target. So it is this patch where it did get the buff. Look at this call.
Boss call. Just stall it out. The
they
threat
only see
alone.
Jhin. They only see Jhin.
The threat alone.
All right. Free boss. They're going for it. They realize it. It is Hungry Arrow build, so Vala does do wonders of damage versus the boss.
They're going to raise this, and I think they should be okay. I don't know if we've got a phase shift. Jhin is here early. The rest of his team, they're going to have to back off this. They're fighting.
Okay. ETC gets the knockback, but LZ goes deep. Without that heroic, doesn't have the same kind of sustain he would hope for. Specialty has been able to heal through the pulses of Lucio and Brightwing with all that AoE is just edging them through this. The knockback shy of the actual kill. Yes, Specialty does end up going down, but the Howling Blast keeping Soy in reach for a while. Disengage getting him a little bit away, but traded on the pursuit. 1, 2, Hungering Arrow. Boop, boop, and... Huh.
Oh, man. If it's Hero League, you chase that
all
the way.
You chase till you die.
All the way.
That's how you play. That's
what a bloodbath that last fight is. Now, you know, that fort's going to go down to Engine Experience, but it's going to be met here as we've got our third tribute spawning. Jake, we could potentially have Heroics.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to play this safe.
Donkeys R Us Gonna have heroics first. No need to contest this as you're already up 2-0 on the tribute count, and they will just concede the point, waiting for 10 themselves. As the fort falls, the experience becomes much more even, and there we go. Heroics on both sides nearly simultaneously.
ETC still goes Mosh Pit despite the Emerald win, but no cleanse. Polymorph, Rain of Vengeance, Expulsion Zone, Lucio Boop, not enough to deter ETC from going Mosh Pit.
I mean, it can still make the big plays, right? And it only takes one big mosh to win a game. That's the way that they're approaching this. I like the Curse Bullet. I think it's going to be good pressure versus the Arthas, but it's still going to be a tall order. I mean, you've got Sound Barrier, you've got the Peekaboo, Phase Shield, you know, Phase Shift. You've got Zarya Shields. It's a lot of sustain on this team.
A lot for sure. Got ourselves another tribute spawn here, as it is Curse Point for Imported. See if they try and open this up a little bit. Imagine we'll be hiding in the bush as Jen and team. Long rotation out. And if they can stall this, they're actually sending Brightwing top to see if they can get some value out of that. See if she shifts in early. She does.
Still have the Siege Giants. I think she was able to throw out a single Arcane Flare. And that does make a difference because it basically gives you a minion wave plus the Giants forward. And that will push out slowly but surely. They have the 5v5. One Mosh Pit could be devastating. Always have to consider that, even with all the interrupts they have on their table. Ignition doesn't necessarily have the grandest engage, but if you land a Howling Blast, Expulsion Zone could become a problem.
Power slide in, and the stem drone is out. We're going to see what they can do, but Soy is completely locked in by that Expulsion Zone. Now we've got ourselves a dance party. The Cleanse and the Ancestral is going to keep Jen locked in, and the power slide over as Ignition does not go down, and instead it is going to be Greybane as two members are down on the side of Donkey Azar Us. Make it 3, make it 4.
That Expulsion Zone was just about as good as it gets. And you saw Greymane. He was it was hopping up and down, you know, feeling those beats, but not Lucio's beats. They were the beats, the ripples of the waves of the Expulsion Zone. And look at this call. Past the fort to the keep. Only one fort remains. Brightwing is getting Global Soak. The minion wave up in the top is actually getting a keep wall here. Like, this is such a huge swing right now.
It is. It's all of a sudden a 2-level lead, and it's only going to get bigger as these structures continue to fall. Some experience will be picked up as the minion waves do push forward, but the structure advantage opening up, and now they're softening up the boss lane, Jake. And this, we saw early boss pickups, which means the boss timers are at a minute away on the side of Imported Support. We'll see if they fall back with that talent tier advantage and see if they can push forward into the lane that they're opening up right now.
Ooh, this is tough. I just wanted to really get a good feel for the
dink
sound. Yeah, that was, we just had to give it its piece, you know.
Dunk, dunk. Who cares about the boss? Just push in with a siege camp.
It's a risky play. Mosh in 15 seconds, still in cooldown. Jin taking a lot of poke, but still trying to deal with those siege giants, which are one of the bigger threats here. And they're able to push in. Ooh, look at that. A little bit of a hesitation. Jin didn't believe in the root. The cleanse had to be used onto Jin himself as the phase shift flies on in also.
Stem drone used there.
Yeah, that's a long cooldown.
It's a long cooldown and low impact. They did pick up 13. Bosses are up on both sides. Not dropping back and using that talent tier advantage. Instead, they got the Siege Giants, which didn't really pay off, but it did handcuff Donkey Azar Us to that lane, at least momentarily, and to help maintain that 2-level lead.
Well, the quest is 16. And then Ignition will get eyes on as the start. Skill lane cocktail. Revealing this immediately that Ignition was watching. Making the boss play pretty much not an option. We do see the blue team will slowly but surely convene to the top part. The Aware, making a risky call. Doesn't have eyes on here. Anticipating the presence is in the top. But pushing out nonetheless.
It's a tough spot if your Donkeys are us. The one thing that is your saving grace, you need to be able to soak the bottom lane. Instead, they're pushing hard for kills right now. They might actually have Arthas singled out here. Cursed Bullet still being held on there. I don't even know if that hit, but Army of the Dead is out. Brightwing is here. The Emerald Wind is out. Ignition diving that back line now. Soy trying to go in, and all of a sudden we've got the Poly out in return, and Jake, the damage is coming.
The phase shield that Brightwing gets made all the difference with that approach, and with the sound barrier reaching in time, this fight, this looks one-sided. What was a collapse on Arthas turns out to be a tragic moment as 3 members die, and now we're looking at double boss potential. This is tough.
This is a good call here. I want to see if we get double boss as the Aware finds himself a Rhaegar, but Sliceblade might just want to find his way home. But you've got Siege Giants that have been pushing. I don't think they're going to have time to get both. That's actually not the worst thing that's ever happened. I mean, yeah, you gave up a few kills, but now you can give up the next 2 tributes while you wait for 16, but
if
can you
keep
survive?
your keep alive, right? Like, that's the thing. If they lose this keep, it's still tough. 16 with a healthy boss on the way. Brightwing getting good soak in the mid.
No stem drone for 20 seconds.
That
makes this a tough. I feel this keep is gone, but you cannot give up kills, else you give up a lot more.
All right. Brightwing doesn't phase shift in. They passively walk away. Experience speaks for itself.
Jake, how would you have felt if they would have just went and made the boss play bottom? And if you play long-term this game, you get that 20 tier. Yes, you get catapults for the rest of the game. But would it have been better to maybe get that bottom keep, since that bottom boss is on your side, just kind of go the back-to-back? You'd already softened up the bot lane.
I think that's definitely an option if they weren't already right here. It's just enticing to be able to grab that boss right then and there.
But if this goes late, if we see Donkeys R Us come back late game and it comes down to that boss play bot lane or something like that, it could come back. I mean, it's still a strong play.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
debatable.
Definitely debatable. And what's also debatable is this boss call. Level 16 isn't too far off. Yes, they have everything ready on both sides, and it will force Brightwing out of that top lane as soon as they see this. Yep, the phase shift has been summoned.
The expulsion zone is going to be crucial if it even gets there. Jin's going in. The mosh pit's going to be the backside. The cleanse is going to be there as well. But the expulsion zone is out, and so is the sound barrier.
Sound barrier getting value, but oh, the damage from the will be mitigated from the ancestral heal. Zarya was doing work, but now Vala is down. Aleheim will fall 2 for 1, favoring the side here of imported support, and they're going to get the boss on top of it. A good attempt, but man, Lucio with that sound barrier denied all of the mouthfeel damage.
This, they're not going to go. They're not going to try and push this. They're going to send Lucio top. They're going to send the rest of the team bottom. They have numbers for now, but this gives them potential 20 and curse point on the next tribute. Malthael will at least stall it. He gets it in at the last second.
So LZ's going to do what he can. But meanwhile, triple catapults up on top.
I don't know what that stall
boss
does.
And double hero in the bottom. Tribute got picked up anyways. If you had been cleaning up the top lane, that's going to give them experience and deny those catapults from being a threat. But now, they are pushed in all 3 fronts. Boop. And
all right, well, you've got yourself curse point 20 coming up. I think you're in a pretty good spot if you're imported support.
Yeah. I like the stall. The invade. Oh, this could actually be really... Oh, no. If they had just kept going, they would have found a free fairy dragon.
Gotta play with Fog of War right here. That's all that they're doing. Tribute will spawn bottom, which means that they'll just have to kind of take the long road. And this is the thing, is that if you're imported support, is it almost worth giving up a curse here? Yeah, you're giving up a curse, but you can pick up 20 on the minion waves that push and negate a lot.
HGC dove in, did not end up catching the wash because we had Brightwing available. Emerald win with a beautiful disengage, and the Ancestral onto Elheim is successful. Stim Drone Greymane doesn't feel as deadly as it should, but they do get the kill on Malthus on the backside. So right now, Imported looking to turn this into a big victory with the double, the triple, and maybe more after that.
I think this is about the time in chat where you just type in GG, because you're going to get this last kill. You're going to walk up to the core in the game. And a pretty flawless game, if you're on the side of Imported support, is the final kill count, 19-3. Very, very strong game from Imported support.
The Brightwing early draft on a map like this continued to min-max perfectly. The new phase shield at level 7 where Brightwing gets it made a lot of those phase shifts with the Emerald Wind plays viable. There are situations where they swap the focus immediately. Remember the Arthas gank? In the past, if Brightwing had phase shift, Emerald Winded there, Brightwing died. Just straight up died. But that shield has made a huge, huge difference. And yeah, Brightwing Lucio, Arthas Zarya, it's kind of gross. It's kind of hard to kill things.
Tough time getting kills. And this is... I've been digging real deep into some stats lately, particularly Greymane, who is oftentimes referred to as one of the best heroes in the game, one of the most diverse heroes in the games in terms of he can play ranged and he can play melee.
Yep.
But the more I watch, the less impressed I am, and it's been his win rate lately has dropped. I think it's like right now in the pro division, low 40%, which is not good.
No.
His performances have been less than stellar, and it's a composition like this and a double support composition that I think Greymane is more of an executioner style as opposed to a
I think that's fair to say.
Solo range damage dealer. And I've really been trying to dig into the drafts and figure out why it's been so rough. And I think right there is when Greymane has to stay in human form to be the one to initiate the damage before he can finish the damage. He struggles a lot.
Yeah, I mean, level 20, when you got Gildan Roulette, maybe it's a little bit scarier when you got that stim drone.
Everything before that is tough.
It's so bad, yeah. But I'm saying even then it's maybe, right?
Yeah.
Worgen Form does more damage. Worgen Form is...
Everything is about Worgen, and I really feel like these solo damage dealers, if you watch games on Battlefield of Eternity, on Infernal Shrines, and we've seen kind of this double support style, the worst thing, I think, in the win rates lately of a Greymane with an Ariel have been even worse. I've really been trying to figure out why it's been so abysmal the last few months in the Pro Division. I really just feel like Greymane in this specific scenario with the double support, it just doesn't enable the full power of Greymane. It's kind of like running a Tracer without a Tassadar, in the sense that a Greymane without another assassin, another ranged assassin, to help him take some of the load off of what he's got to do. I feel... From what I've seen, that's where Greymanes have been struggling lately.
I would agree. And it's this double support meta. It makes it a little bit harder for that Greymane to be that executioner for sure. And we've been in the double support meta for what feels like an eternity at this point. And it's I don't know when it's going to change. Obviously, like we've had...
Did you see my tweet the other day?
Maybe not.
Phase 1. 9% of the games, HGC Phase 1, 9% of the games had double support. That was the like 480, 490 games.
Give me the Phase 2 stat.
I think it was like 45%.
Oh.
That was the like 412 games. So the data wasn't complete at the time, but it went from like 9%. I want to say the tweet is like 45%.
That's a thing. That's a thing. But regardless... If it works, use it, right? Win games. That's what it's all about. These teams are fighting to make their way to the Crucible. And this is the winner semifinal. So if you win here, you move on to face Heroes Hearth in a match that could earn you a spot in the Crucible. And this is day 1 out of 5. Now, this bracket was updated before we started today, so it's a little out of date, but this is the way it works. It's going to be best of 5s for the winner's semi, which is what we're in now, the winner's finals, the loser's semi, and the loser's finals, and the grand finals. But round 1 in the lower bracket, also best of 1 series. I think the quarterfinals are also best of 1 series for tomorrow. But I'm not certain on that. Of course.
Best of 1?
Best of 3.
Oh, like, wait a minute.
Of course, you can type exclamation mark graphic or exclamation point bracket.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, jet lag is a thing.
It's not jet lag, Jake. It's jet lagif.
Jet lagif is a thing. But regardless, guys, that is what's going on. We'll have a lot more coming up in this series. We have the lobby made. J-How, the map that we are going to.
Towers of Doom.
Towers, man.
Doom. Doom.
The players look like they are ready. It's the Towers of Doom. Game 2 of this best of 5. Do you believe in the donkeys? Are you one of...
Ask me after the draft.
Oh.
Lights just went out in the room beside us and kind of scared me. And the creepy music. What is... It's over. It's over.
Don's game.
Well, Jake, nice knowing you.
We look in the window behind our monitor and Butcher's just waiting.
Just red, beady eyes.
I wouldn't put it past a Blizzard employee to own like a Butcher cosplay and to just walk in. Like right now, we're actually at Blizzard headquarters, and the office is like empty because it's late. It's like 10 p.m. right? So it's eerie.
Lights just came back on.
Does that mean that Butcher's in the hallway?
That's his furnace blast lighting up.
Please no.
How
about their Ariel bands again?
Shout out to Heroes of Fitness, right? They do a cooking stream. He's got a Butcher apron. I think that's pretty cool.
Ooh, that is pretty cool. Also, shout out to Blizzard for making this possible. And Lashes, extra shout out to her. She takes care of us at all these events.
I wish people
She's
knew,
literally
man.
stuck in the office till 10, 11 o'clock at night to allow us to have internet. Otherwise, we'd be doing a hotel bed stream. We'd be casting from the bed.
You want to pack it up and...
You want to go back to the hotel?
I'd probably fall asleep at this point.
Hey, these games will keep you awake because they have been good tonight.
First pick Bala, and we've seen Tassadar just completely disappear tonight, Jake. And this is a map where Tass Tracer, if you remember the days of MVP Black, Kyocha going in, even last year, Crowan going in, obviously not in this game, on Gale Force, Snitch going in on Dignitas. All those heroes really excelled around that style play. Instead, you open up with a double support Lieutenant Morales Brightwing. In all of your history of watching Pro Division, when was the last time you've seen a Morales Brightwing first rotation?
I don't know, 55% double support pick right here in HGC Phase 2. That's what I'm feeling, Jay.
Brightwing Morales is your first 2 picks in a game.
What world is this?
One where if I don't see Tassadar here, I'm going to be really worried.
Do you go Tass Rhaegar?
Uther Genji.
Uther Genji.
You can dive all over that. I'm just, D-shield that guy and just let him go to town. I think he just presses R or something like that. R. R, 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 R.
No. J-How, the meat I ate is slaying my stomach right now.
Dropping the beats and the sick death metal from ETC.
J-How, give me your best Lucio speed boost.
No. It's not going to happen. I think the meat's getting to you.
Speed boost.
That's the same way you say esports.
Esports.
Jake's go-to.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day to be alive. In a world where Medic and Brightwing can viably be picked in first pick.
Double global right there.
Phase shift onto the medevac.
Kerrigan with the ally ravage.
Wait, so is Ariel a global now that she can fly?
Yes.
I honestly forgot that was a real talent. If you missed it earlier, I think I retweeted the clip of McIntyre on Ariel. Definitely worth the watch. I think Cowhead. Shout out to Cowhead. I think he clipped it.
Fan of all HGC. Been around the scene for a long time. Really good guy. See the Uther ban, which again does limit that dive potential style. We saw good cleanses. They prioritized that, the cleanse and the ancestral.
Lash just fought the Butcher.
She slayed him.
She saved
Thank
us.
goodness.
Whew. We live in because of her.
Which must have been Lily, because that's the only
All
way.
right, so you were saying earlier, if you don't see Tass picked, you're going to be mad. Tass hasn't been picked.
It doesn't make sense to me that, okay, so in a double support style composition, yes, you're going to struggle, I think, that if you go into that Tass style and then you go solo Vol, and I think that, you know, going into double support, but how do you fight double support with double support? And it's a really weird thing to say, because who really wins in that fight? And I think that Tassadar brings a lot to that. And it's really difficult. We see the Tyrael ban again, and I like the ban. You've got double support, you've got the movement speed, you've got the Herondric reforging at 4, so you've got all kinds of things around this. But we got to see some pop. We saw solo lane Brightwing last time. You can imagine we'll see the same again. This is one of those times where I think that when I think about this, we haven't seen Dahaka, and I really don't like Dahaka in double support, double warrior setups. But Dahaka flanking a backline Morales to at least put some pressure on her, get an interrupt with a tongue, maybe an isolation, I feel like that's got to happen at some point. Is this like the most protected composition ever? Were they going to throw him a Div in the backside of this?
Oh, don't even give him the idea, Jay.
What is this composition, though? Illidan. I'm just kidding. I'm a bit I don't get this composition. Shields, 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 armor, 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 armor. That's pretty much how I can define this composition.
Don't forget the iron skin.
Shield armor, unstoppable.
Yeah, it's definitely...
how do you bust through this now? You can't go solo Lucio.
Well, what's more resident sleeper than basically quadruple support? 5 support. ETC heals himself. Vala, she can heal herself.
Level 13.
Yeah, that works. You got Lucio. Let's get 2 more supports. Rhaegar, Tassadar. Let's go. We got Stukov.
I do actually like Gul'dan into Zarya because you get consistent poke damage and you don't necessarily feed a lot of energy towards Zarya in most circumstances. I just really, really worry. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at imported and I'm thinking, where does your damage come from?
They don't need it.
You can't go a Lunara, so your dive there's no Greymane. You go Cassia. Contribute from the blinds.
Double blind with Joe, yeah.
That's one way.
I actually really like the Cassia in this situation because Cassia has a surprising amount of burst damage, and if an ETC oversteps his bounds, it doesn't feel good. Gul'dan, sure, is going to put out huge numbers, but does it matter? It's going to be a weird game.
What is this draft?
We Korea now, boys.
Last time we saw Cassia in a composition like this, it was terrifying how much damage was put out. Charge strikes, and you look at that composition, I mean, Lucio will hang around, Stukov mostly melee, ETC melee, and you can just spread those charge strikes around.
That's true. That could really add up. This is game number 2 of the winners semifinals in the HGC Open Division North American Playoffs. The winner of this will face Heroes Hearth tomorrow in a best of 5 in the winners finals for a spot in the Crucible. We still have at least 2 more games to go. 1-0 lead imported going into Towers of Doom.
10 seconds.
This is going to be a weird game.
4, 3, 2.
This is one of those things that it's a discussion for another time, but a composition on the side, Cassia can kind of wave clear if needed. Johanna kind of, but they don't fast clear. This is one of those times where I almost wonder if a specialist, somebody to control the game, control the lanes particularly, control the bell towers, might be a good option. Again, that's another discussion for another time against the style like this. But Jin slid in, and he's in trouble.
You slip and slide, you gotta make sure you do hide. Because he took a lot of damage there. Able to get to the shadows.
Gul'dan hit 14 stacks on that first fight. 14 out of 40, 30 seconds into the game. Not bad.
Well, that's one way to start a game. Medic hit through grenades. Tease.
The big thing for me will be the regen master for Johanna once she's got that. Very, very safe. And I'm okay with the split here. Brightwing will not be able to sustain against this style of wave clear. We're finally seeing an auto attack style build, not the Hungarian Arrows style build finally from the Vala.
He swaps is actually tilted that that minion stole the shot toward the shield. Good value out of the shield. LZ misses the W. LZ on Stukov. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch because he's so aggro on most of his heroes, right? He likes to play the more aggressive melees. And let me tell you, Stukov might be a melee support, but you punch once in a fight at most. Like, those
slow
punches,
auto attacks.
they're like little feral lunges. They're like, it's the hardest auto attack in the game, actually, right?
Just incredibly slow.
Yeah.
First altar phase, neither team with 4 just yet. They'll pick it up momentarily. The contention for the altars will be here at the bottom once the top is picked up by Lucio and Brightwing, respectively.
Okay. Power slide onto 2. Solid space created. Cassio is able to put out good DPS, but specialty needs to be careful. Those Fell Flames do hurt. Big heals from Medic, topping everyone off. The Brightwing getting a nice Arcane Flare in the mix as well. It is the same phase shift build with that Peekaboo giving presence, with that phase shift rapidly coming off cooldown in fights like this. They haven't been able to find their mark. We just saw Medic get picked off. Well, at least someone did.
Yeah, that's a good one there as we see Slice Blade drain the life out of his opponents, allowing him to turn around in that fight. And that is going to be 2 altars being channeled by Donkeys R Us. That's a big win for them. I think they needed that. After that last game, they had limited success throughout the game. I think the final kill count was 19-3. Coming out here, getting first blood. Got to look good for them to at least kind of get this ball rolling.
That's the way you want to start it, for sure. Because the longer this game goes, the more value the macro play will get for imported. Yeah, ETC could definitely try to go for stage dive if they're worried about matching that, but I don't know that he will. There's actually less CC to deal with the mosh pit. Overall, you got to worry about Iron Skin. That's one of the big things, but wow.
The one thing is, Slice Blade finished his Spell Flame talent already. I mean, the first 3 minutes of the game, this is the game where I probably would have liked to have seen Echoed Corruption. Yes, you can play safe. Yes, you can poke the shrines. But if you're really looking to put that damage out against this style of composition, you hit that Echoed Corruption on multiple heroes. Brightwing can only keep up with so much, and Morales single target heals. But, stay safe, stay poke. We'll see a lot of value out of that, especially post-16.
Oh, not willing to go for the dive there. Was a good knockout onto Slice Blade. Solid DPS from Cassia and Gul'dan. They're going to just be constantly being those hard carries. Specialty, once again with the Zarya shield, able to apply good pressure. It just hasn't mattered. Really, the story is how much DPS can you do with this wall with Zarya, Cassia. Decent, but not game-changing.
Not game-changing, and you look at the composition of imported support, and Zarya basically is your second best damage dealer, but she requires energy, and I talked about the burst damage that she obtains, and I think that's the hardest part is this composition of Gul'dan and Vala, you can pull back the reins on both of those heroes. Not going into Hungry and Arrow build allows you to not be able to soak up that burst damage pretty easily, as well as the Fell Flames.
Yeah, that's true. Will just be a safe trade on the altars. Brightwing swap down to bottom to maintain that soak. 4 damage lead favoring DRU maintained. They are the first ones to start on a Sapper camp, so we'll get that nice and quick. Naturally Draded should know that this is not the safest place in the world to be.
Well, they just spent 3 members trying to get a gank onto Lucio up top, and that allowed for an easy invade. Now, this is one of those things where I talk about controlling the bottom is so more advantageous than controlling the top. They'll defend the top, but this is now going to be several sappers pushing in the bottom. We already had 3 go in. We've got 3 more and a full wave. This is a really good spot for Donkey Zaras.
Yep, they'll get 2 of them onto the bottom bell tower, which brings his health down to half pretty much instantly. Lucio did end up dying. Not too sure what the defining factor of him getting caught out was.
He ran out of health.
There you go. And it ends up being bell tower for bell tower. Lucio pick in the favor of Imported. Now, 10 on both teams. Stage dive versus mosh pit. One of the questions we have here for level 10. Strafe was picked up instead of Rain. Stim drone was picked up for Cassia. Not a big surprise.
Stim drone Cassia in these fights will look really good, but again, it's going to be post 16 Gul'dan, which terrifies me the most. Having that extra range already picked up and then going into that 16 rampant Hellflames. I talked about the consistent damage is something I think this team will eventually succumb to. And it will be interesting to see how it works. And now this is the point where I'm talking about. You've got the entire bottom lane locked off. You've got single altar.
3 shots.
Got some sappers that do go across, but I'm trading 4 shots on the altar for three sappers all day. If they can hold.
If they can hold. Brightwing can phase shift when she pleases. They've got a big Emerald win potential as well. It did end up being stage dive to match the global, and HGC is going to have to use that sooner than later, as he cannot stay too long here. There it is in a great position, forcing initiative to a forward spot. Its sound barrier is going to be good as well with that Strafe tearing through everyone, but Emerald Wind does end up getting interrupted there before it can be cast. Ball Lightning pressuring nicely, but not quite enough to threaten kill potential. And Specialty is the only real DPS on the team. Swazmagu has no energy at this moment.
Jen going in again, and you see the lurking arm going out, but the displacement grenade doing so much. Specialty gets the Fend in, but did he dive too far? Specialty, he's very low. He's going to get those heals. That will be a win on the side of Imported Support. Jen and team trying to back out and cut their losses, as Vala was the only casualty. That's a big win there for Imported Support.
It is a big win, and now they're in the lead. The 3 sappers they got earlier during that approach in the top lane edged them out just a bit. They're afforded the option to go grab this camp, but experience remains the same. A very even game across the board.
Now it's Imported Support's turn to try and take the lead, as they stole the sapper camps on the side of Donkeys R Us. They have a slight XP advantage. They're going to reacquire this bottom left bell tower, but not before Donkeys R Us at least comes by to say hello.
Hello.
Johanna's mid, ETC stage dive is already available.
Sappers clean up the rest of that bottom bell tower. Honestly, that's about as much as you can hope for out of them, is to have them connect there. Ignition. A little bit far for the rest of the team to try to commit to this.
Speed on that shield. Zoom, zoom.
Oh, fighting back in the bottom lane. Getting this bottom tower down, definitely beneficial. 13 advantage for the time being. This bell tower is about to be reclaimed. That'll even up the experience for the most part.
13 finally picked up on the reacquisition of that bell tower. We'll see as everything goes through here. Healthstone for Gul'dan.
I mean, if they've only got 1 real true damage and you can give your team more sustain, not a bad call.
Single altar phase, everything basically even on this battleground, Jake, as Brightwing snipped out by the extra face melt range there, but everything dead even. We've got ourselves a fight coming up, and it won't take long to happen. Brightwing and ETC, the globals at top. Who's going to be the first to flinch?
Who will be the first to flinch? Looks like it's going to be the stage dive. ZTC goes into the backside. Iron Skin used early in the fight, and the face shield goes in with a big ball lightning that Sound Barrier can't quite deny the damage from. Horrify bought time for them to retreat with the rest of the team, but that's going to be about as much as they could hope for in the rest of this fight.
That's all it took. Another nice expulsion zone there. This is 2 games in a row. The expulsion zone have just been there. That flailing swipe, I don't know if it's Jin, I think might have just, he might have bit off more than he can shoot. I'm surprised they didn't try and dive that.
Yeah, a little bit reserved. Good pressure into the bottom lane, however. They didn't quite get the bell tower, but having it weakened is still a huge opportunity, right? A couple sappers make their way through, and that's it for the fort. Then you've got the map control, the map advantage. Brightwing's already making the rotation to continue extending that XP lead however they can, as these medic grenades have done a great job dealing with this wave of minions and sappers.
It's one way to deal with it. New medic with the grenades are, it's an interesting style of play, to say the least, as ETC going to the top to deal with the minion waves. I think my voice is gone apparently, but the bottom lane is still defended by this 4-man, and it's not a really good way to obtain that XP. Oh man, that's bad.
Oh, the Horrify is what they needed, as Lucio speed boosted his way around that wall and back to safety. Ended up being Bless Shield for Flailing Swipe, Stage Dive, and Horrify, however.
So it's a pretty winning trade as we've now entered our 3rd altar phase one more time. 2nd and final time. There's the stem drone already out here.
Yeah, it actually seems a little early, all things considered. Safe posture for the retreats. Typically, you want to save stem drone for when you know you can get the good damage on, and it is triple altar. Those grenades buying space. Brightwing on the rotation. Phase shift is actually available, I believe, with that level 1 talent as Elheim starts the channel.
Brightwing's already moved to the top, and she probably was in this fight long enough to use that level 1 talent to already have that global. She might actually try and double play the top and then come down, which would be a huge moment, as there's the Sound Barrier already out, the Emerald Wind going out, and Lucio not able to survive there. Specialty going in hard now. Ignition with the body blocks is going to help secure the kill on to Stukov, and they're looking for more, Jake.
They are. They're not going to be able to find anyone. ETC already getting the Hearth out, but this is looking like it could be triple altar. They're actually going to destroy this bottom bell tower, and be aware we'll channel, get the 5 damage on. Vala will be able to get this before it's an issue. So minor crisis averted, but there is definitely a big swing in 4 HP now.
Imported support definitely starting to take control of this game, and they're going to have more control as they're picking up the sappers, controlling the battleground. Again, we saw a pretty wild series to start the night with a crazy Towers of Doom game, so I don't ever want to believe that the game's over just yet, so we'll see if Donkeys R Us can try and pull this back.
I believe Jay Howe. I believe in the Donkeys, but Towers of Doom, anything can happen. Best thing in the world for them is that level 16 is here with Rampant Hellfire, and that can, of course, give you a lot more kill potential, especially when you don't have a huge DPS team. Between that and Strafe, overwhelming damage in some cases could be the case. We will see as they do reclaim the bottom bell tower. The stage dive is attempted, and Cassia, the kill target, but the face shield and Emerald Wind combo there to save.
Oh, Jen on the wrong side now as he tried to power slide through that, but the Emerald Wind and the flailing swipe as Specialty goes in with the fend. Oh my goodness, the heroics saving everybody's lives in these fights.
And everyone's full health.
Double support.
Oh my goodness.
That's the thing. It's like right now, this is the type of fight that Donkeys R Us is okay with. The long, drawn-out fights, because so far they've been blown up early in these fights. But Gul'dan value, Rampant Hellflame, the extra healing that you're going to be getting out, it's really, really what you want to try and go with. And
okay, I like the Stukov zone control here. Sim Drone is out. What can Specialty do? He's got the phase shift coming on in. Peekaboo revealing anyone that might be in the shadows. Ignition taking heavy poke from Soy and LZ right now. Slice Blade has the other side. All right, there's Sim Drone.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I heard it.
I got canceled.
They walk right through. The Fell Flames are doing damage. Brightwing, however, Horrify has been used. Swabs Magoo, however, on the backside, being healed right back up by Morales. Jin doing everything he can. Forced to power slide away. He has no more mana for a re-engage. They are relying solely on Slice Blade, and so far they have not been able to crack this double support.
Neither team has, but a look at HGC Hearthing back, stage dive at the ready. That means the Cow's tank will be filled if they want to look for the re-engage. Lucio channeling the bottom altar, Viterated channeling this altar, 1-for-1 as they go over, but only 8 HP left for Donkeys R Us here in game number 2, and they're collapsing, looking for the kill, but they've got the knockback and they've got the sound barrier to sustain through.
They do, and there's a lot of damage, and it probably will be healed right back up on the side of Imported. I mean, it's not through lack of trying. Gul'dan has 96, almost 97,000 damage. Vala been struggling to get there, only 51,000. Cassia, the lone damage dealer, 88,000, with Zarya as second at 35,000. Yet somehow 5 kills to 1 on the side.
5 kills to 1, yeah. It's all about the focus and the isolation. If you get those big isolation moments, makes the difference. And the Emerald wins from Brightwing, the phase shift with the self-phase shield. Again, have seen big, big moments. I mean, I honestly feel that we're about to see a big rise in Brightwing play across the board with the buffs that she got in this patch.
They're pretty impactful, to say the least, as the Sappers cleared up on both sides. But, Jake, we've got an experience advantage on the side of Imported support, and we are playing towards the next altar phase, which, if it's a double altar phase, it could be game over. And if it's single altar phase and you get a big team fight, it could be altar boss potential to end the game. So Imported support firmly in control here in game number 2.
Donkeys know they need to make something happen. They're going to start the boss. And it looks like they're going to get away with it. Barely. Johanna sees it. She can't get there in time. No. Oh my goodness. They're making it happen. The Brightwing Emerald win will be denied by the beautiful Horrify, and it's just a ring around the rosy, fighting for the Headless Horseman damage. Elaheim was low, but the heals have come through, and it's going to be 4 shots going over to Imported. Strafe gets interrupted. Emerald win, not going to do too much, but it does keep Jin in limbo for a moment there, and one more altar ends the game. Jay Howe.
They're falling back. They have stage dive, so Jin can interrupt that, but they have to find a way. I think it's going to have to be stage dive. He's got to go now.
Yeah, he's got to do it. 3-2. He's going to make it in time. Onto Dreaded. Polymorph secluding him where he doesn't want to be.
Oh, he is so close. The shift was interrupted, but Jin is so low, and so is Slice Blade. Somehow they're still alive, at least for the moment. The turnaround kill. Gul'dan managed to get it with the Fell Flame. They have the advantage right now, but how much longer? Level 20's been picked up. You're going to see the shield coming out.
All right, Specialty going in with that face shield, looking for Elaheim, the poly, and the lightning ball. Timed up to make sure they can get the burst and even it up 4v4. No Lucio, no big heals left, and Jin goes down. That's all but game. 2-0 lead for Imported support.
Woo! Valiant effort there.
I can't believe they made that work with Johanna popping the iron skin, walking in onto the boss, and stalling that out. The horrified boss, like, oh.
She just walked out. This is mine. What are you going to do about it?
Peace.
Well played there towards the end of the game. Donkeys are still having trouble with Imported support, and these drafts have seemed problematic, I think, for Donkeys R Us. The double support, they just haven't, I mean, they've managed 4 kills in 2 games as opposed to 19 in the first game for imported support. I think they ended up with 8. I guess 5 kills in 2 games.
And Donkeys got to dig deep, right? You know, again, we have to say over and over, this is a double elimination bracket, but winning this series means you're in such an amazing spot. You could, like, you're basically a series away from Crucible, which is the dream. To be a pro gamer, to earn that status, to earn that salary in the HGC Pro League. And, I mean, honestly, imported, Donkeys, Heroes Hearth, those are the teams that we're expecting to be in the Crucible, but only 2 can go.
Team Numerics. Don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on Operative.
Them.
Don't sleep on Numerics. They're definitely the other 2 that are on the radar, but upsets can happen. We're going to take a quick commercial break to get ready for Game 3. It's a best-of-5 series. We have at least one more game tonight. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
discovering with no cares, life is so easy. Can I justify being lazy if I'm the skeleton of what I could be? I had enough of the world, always begging me to this, to that, so I'm escaping. Fight or flight is the right to run, but then I'm falling short of who I should become.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to HGC Open Division Playoffs. We're going into game number 3 between Imported Support and Donkeys Are Us. Yes, this is the Blizzard streaming room. J-How, what's your favorite piece of artwork on the wall back here? There's a Kerrigan. There's a bush.
There's a sick BlizzCon poster on the door right outside. I totally like
super secret
we're
one.
here late. No, it's an old one. We're here late.
You can take a selfie with it?
Take it off the wall.
Oh, he's going to be that guy.
I would never. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. I don't know.
So, Tomb of
Put a
the
lot of pressure
Spider
on me.
Queen is going to be our map for game number 3.
My favorite battleground, Jake.
Is it?
I love it. I've got to see if you're gonna be trying some. If we're gonna see double support again, I gotta see something get mixed up. Kel'Thuzad potentially, Kel'Thas, KT versus KTZ. That's right, I went there. But you gotta
Are you
have.
really calling him KTZ? Do you
Yeah,
know how much that tells me?
I don't care. That's it. Look, I didn't play Kel'Thuzad back. I was playing Diablo 2 back in Warcraft 3.
played as Kel'Thuzad.
Or you didn't play against him, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that hero.
Okay, all right.
I know Mephisto. I know Baal. I know all the Diablo 2 heroes. I don't know Kel'Thuzad. All of a sudden
No,
you're like, hey,
I
by
guess
the
in
way,
Warcraft
this
3
is a
it
hero,
does.
and I'm like, well, I played against him in Naxxramas, but Kel'Thas,
Fair enough, Jay Howe.
and it's much easier to say.
You didn't give me your favorite piece of artwork on this wall.
The heroes one up on the back wall. You can't see
Just
it on
the
the screen.
classic Heroes poster.
What's yours?
I like the one that like Heroes fan art or something. It's super
Which
cool.
one?
I'm gonna take a
you
photo of it.
point
And I'm
to it
gonna
again?
tweet it. Follow me on Twitter. Follow us on Arcane8 here on Twitch. Let's get to the draft.
I got to see something different. If you're going to go down, at least go down in style. Yeah, I mean, if you can get the Morales off the board, you get rid of that armor, the safeguard. You know, we've seen that level 7 talent get a lot of value, getting that duration and everything going. I got to see something different here. We see the Johanna ban instantly. Either play more of a map control style if you're struggling in the team fights, which we've seen them do so far. But I just feel that they've got to try. It can't be the Ragnaros, right? We can't see the Ragnaros. And so if your Donkeys are, and you know what? Maybe you could. Maybe we kick it old school, go Varian Ragnaros. Maybe we go Varian Ragnaros.
Just taunt, self-smash.
I mean, there's probably better options than that. I wouldn't mind seeing more of the stitches into the combos that we kind of saw earlier. But you've got to either get a combo set up, you've got to get some burst damage, whether it's mage style or not. You know, I think Slice Blade is old Taliant, for those that know him by his previous name, more than capable of playing those style heroes. Maybe they go into the Nazebo late game, but I feel like they've been struggling in team fights. And going through that double support, they've been struggling. I think they've got to try and find something different. And
Speaking of different warrior bands to open up the draft,
I have no idea.
Johanna and ETC have been removed, which is not a common case, and we finally get a Tassadar first pick.
We finally see our first pick Tassadar. And have we seen that tonight at all?
No, not a single.
We are. This is our 9th game. That's our 10th game.
Tonight?
I'm sorry, this is our 8th game.
Wasn't the first series 2-0?
2-0, 3-0.
3-0.
Now we're in game 3. So 8th game.
You're right. You
This is
mapped
our
it right.
and it's been a while, right? We've seen the early Vala pickup, but we haven't seen it paired with the Tassadar once. And I said it last game, if you're going to go the double support route, at least have something to where you still have some damage, you have some AoE damage to at least keep the...
J-How. We're now at a spot where we actually have to see Donkeys. They have to ban Cho'Gall.
That is true.
They don't have a
This
choice.
is imported support.
And this Tomb.
This
It's with
is
Ariel.
one of Cho'Gall's
Yeah.
best maps.
You can't. So that ban is already determined, unless they pick Cho'Gall now. But I don't think.
Cho'Gall Tassadar.
I don't
the
think that's
dream.
gonna happen. Yo. After 1 million years, this Tassadar skin
Still doesn't loop perfectly. Just watch it.
I trust me, I try not to. It's like you keep looking at it, you're like, all right, I missed it. And then, oh, there it is. All right, finally. Let's get something different. The Garrosh is a good start. You have good control. You have good pick potential. You have the potential force wall for when somebody tries to go out. Now, you've taken away the Johanna, who doesn't have that iron skin. Next heroes you've got to look at. Muradin, you could let through because he isn't that threat. ETC, Power Slide, out. The next biggest threat that you're going to have is the Anubarak. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Donkey's R Us go into an Anubarak ban to try and deny that if you're trying to blow up the tank or at least trying to do damage to the tank, create that chaos. Garrosh is kind of that perfect setup, and I like this a lot.
Do you still consider, like, is Garrosh scary enough to scare Cho'Gall because it's two heroes
You toss him over.
getting thrown?
Let's see. I mean,
He
you
has
have
shove baseline, basically, so... Gul'dan or
the
Root?
toss, horrify. They're getting rid of that. The thing is, if you're afraid of that, then instead of banning the Cho'Gall, I would ban something like the Rhaegar, who can solo a lane or try and play into that 3-2 split and has wave clear. You take that off the board, who also, coincidentally, pairs well with the Cho'Gall, 13 Earth and Shield, to apply the Ancestral as needed. So I think there is some potential there. If no matter what, if you're afraid of Cho'Gall, ban Cho'Gall. But the next best ban that you need to go with right here is Rhaegar.
For those of you that don't know, imported support in Phase 1 was particularly known for their Cho'Gall at the end of this season, going towards HGC Phase 1 playoffs, and Cho'Gariel was their really lethal weapon that everyone was terrified of. This is one of the maps where it is key, and now they're hovering Lucio. Seeing Lucio banned, I'm feeling the Malthael as a pretty likely option for the side of DRU to be their solo lane. But we shall see. Is it gonna be the Cho'Gall? How's the edamame, J-Hal?
Shh. Just let it be. Just let it be.
You've been up for what, 20 hours now?
More than 20 hours. It's been a long day of travel.
The things we do for esports.
Middle seats for 2 flights, 6 hours of flight time. Middle seats.
Oh man, you need you need Chen to be your friend right now. Pull up the wandering keg.
I was thinking barrel roll so you can roll me home. It's going to be a tough walk out of here. But Cho'Gall has to be considered. Again, I think that if they don't go Cho'Gall, Rhaegar, I think, would be an obvious pickup. They end up the Muradin, so they have the mobility.
No Cho'Gall. I'm sad, man.
So they go into Brightwing again. They've put all their eggs into the Brightwing basket in 3 games, but they get the mobility that they need in case they get the Dwarf toss in. It's going to be up to Morales to kind of time those grenades. You get the toss over, you hit the grenade, and you can interrupt that. It's
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Let Garrosh throw you, and then hit him with the playmaker.
You know what? You know what? I don't mind it. Depending on what these next 2 picks are, if you don't have any threat to dive, whether it be a Malthael, whether it be a Dahaka, I'm actually really worried that we might see imported just go into something like a Vala Lunara. So going against the Morales Tassadar, that spread damage works really well. Poke damage against Garrosh is absolutely terrifying. It's one of the best counters I've seen so far, is that Lunara style. So I want to see if they're going to try and make a play. Greymane Zul'jin. Oh, there's the Zul'jin. All right, now the Lunara not as appealing.
Okay, so Zul'jin Tassadar Medic. We always talk about Medic enabling, one assassin to go to town. We saw it earlier with Cassia. We've seen it with Lunara. We've seen it with a number of heroes. Tassadar also pairs very well with any auto attack hero. Zul'jin has amazing auto attack damage. When you have the 2 of them that have snap saves, like Medic Zul'jin was a really early pairing, right? Like that was a Hero League duo of death that could be so very useful. Guillotine has received some buffs, so there's actually a case for it here. And
you grant Crystal Aegis the targets that dies instantly, so you got to predict the guillotines if they come out. So
the other thing is you can guillotine somebody coming out of the Aegis.
that's true. That's very true. I almost hope we see guillotine instead of Tazdengo, because Tazdengo, a lot of it's in the value of being in that form. But if you get Tazdengo and you get Pale shuts down most of its utility, right?
Cassia over Lunara. That just shows that, they're very comfortable on the Cassia. They've shown it throughout multiple weeks that they're comfortable with the Cassia. So not a big surprise, but against the Morales, we'll see. Charge Strikes gets that spread value that they're hoping for.
Seeing interesting drafts here in this series. We'll see what the result is here. Donkeys R Us are down 0-2 in this best of 5 in the winners semifinals. And we're seeing Zul'jin and Garrosh.
Jake, we've been casting the Open Division since January. Throughout all of Phase 1, there was one player, probably the best mage player that we've had in Open Division. His name is Soyasaria. He's on the right side in red. Hasn't played a mage yet in this series.
That's interesting, actually.
It feels weird. It feels weird, given that I think that's one of his strongest roles. It's kind of like that Mene style, is that you want to accent that sometimes, but the current version that we have in Heroes, the double support style, the armor style that we have, it's kind of negated a lot of the mages that we've had in the competitive scene. And so then you kind of look away from that. What can you go into next? He's going to be on Zul'jin. We don't see Mage Zul'jin in this case. Instead, we're giving him the Axe.
You want Axe will get a lot of value if he can soak up the 2 lanes. Just keep running around, keep the fight going, and build up those stacks.
Instantly, seeing Perfect Storm picked up for Murden, coincidentally.
It's going to be, again, a weird one. Garrosh, something we're going to keep our eyes on, as all of those Qs will become deadly and deadlier. Ignition, not necessarily the target he's going to be looking for, but, honestly, just running by, throwing the Q out here, you never know. You never know what you might be able to find and set up for your team, and then throw into Oblivion and blow up. They have solid follow-up. Not a ton of CC, but the damage is there.
I'm just wondering if he was just going to toss the Murd, and then he finally throws him over, but the Dwarf toss right out, and that's pretty much and tosses him right into a Stormbolt right into his ally.
So this is going to be a big part of the dance. How much damage can Zul'jin get done? And naturally, he's going to always try to get those auto attacks on heroes whenever he sees the chance. Swabznagu doesn't want to give too many of those up for free. Even if you can heal up easily with those, free pulses, you're just going to help him out with U1 Axe. And, the additional range that Zul'jin gets when completing that is substantial. It makes him just a lot safer and a lot scarier.
Pretty tame the first part of this game, as we've seen this split style, this 3-2 split converge in the middle. Brightwing now soloing against the Zul'jin. LZ Gamer coming down to lend that support on the Greymane. Again, this is now, we had the last cup and we had this. And it just, I'm not sold on Donkey's direction just yet with their drafts, Jake. It doesn't feel like the Donkeys are us that got them into this position.
I'd agree. I like seeing new things, but I also like seeing new things that work. And this could be the draft. We don't know yet. This is definitely an oddity in the current meta. But I'm welcome to seeing how it can do.
I did say that I like Greymane when he's playing with another backliner that can set up some kills, set up that damage, allowing Greymane to switch into that Worgen form, instantly create the chaos that's already kind of been initiated by somebody else. So now you have the Garrosh. Now you've got the Zul'jin. I'm a big fan of this setup. And again, will we see it successful? We don't know yet, but I'm definitely a fan of this draft over their previous two.
You know what's a soy in it? Edamame. Soy Osarian on the Zul'jin.
Is that a true story, or?
It's a true story. LZ Gamer does end up going down. First blood of the game. Looks like they'll be able to collect the 10 gems that were pooped out, putting them just 2 gems short.
Well, big time matchup there. Tassadar versus Ariel in the mid lane as Ignition comes by to see what's going on. Finds no minions. He'll try and find stacks elsewhere, as he does have 7 stacks on a perfect storm thus far.
All right, first turn in. Goes to the blue side, imported. With the early turn in, not sure what they'll get done, but with slight lead by the looks of it for level 7. Should be against 7 as well. It only takes 1 slip up for Webweaver to suddenly become a little bit more lethal. If they get all 3 walls down, that's a big victory. It's going to be a tall order, however.
I was wondering if we would see the Piercing Stormbolt or the Iron Forged Momentum. We do see Iron Forged Momentum. Definitely can help as we get to 13, trying to get heals, get a little bit more in there. Instead of playing more damage-oriented, you're kind of playing this hybrid build where you get the damage on your Q, you can get that damage on that front line, or if you decide to dive that back line on the Morales, but then you also have the decent amount of control and sustain that you'll get through healing static at 13.
Good way to look at it. I mean, we've already seen Murden be a fairly big focus target. He is more or less the lone front line of this composition. And, you know, we've seen continuous build as unkillable as possible drafts out of Imported today. Looks like 20 more gems are needed, and they should be attempted soon towards that bottom coffer for DRU.
That was actually a really good defense on the side of Donkeys. So we see Ignition goes in, eats a bit of damage.
Phase shift with the poly. Ooh, close call.
Yeah, Jen taking special advantage of his Indomitable at level 4, giving him that self-cleanse that he kind of needed there from the slows that were coming in.
And looking at Zul'jin, Detainment Strike will be enough to pick up the 2nd kill of this game. Clean rotation, and nicely done there by the Aware on Ariel. That really slows down their ability to try to get a turn in, and that window is kind of small now. Win level 10 is in favor of your opponents, but you don't have it. You can't really turn in and expect to get anything done with your Webweavers, so oftentimes the correct call is to just wait for 10, and you know, it's always tough to be in a situation where it's like, well, we just gotta wait, guys.
We actually saw that in our previous series, is that it was around the same window where the team, I think it was Numerics, got the turn in. It was nice, but they were unable to do anything with it. They were unable to obtain 10 in the middle of that. And it just kind of was dead weight.
Pretty much exactly this situation. Level 10 is not here yet for the side of DRU, but the Webweavers have been summoned. Giants in the bottom lane are also going to work against this. They need to work to clean that up, so also not necessarily the best defense for that. But it doesn't mean the Webweavers can't be successful. We'll just have to see. 10 is not far away.
10 not far away. Ignition trying to get on that back side as Zul'jin's going to be back there, putting a little bit of pressure on Emerden as they'll fall back to defend against this Webweaver, which should be cleansed or cleared up quickly. No guillotine, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Look at Jen's positioning.
He wants those flips. That forest wall. Looking for the Q. Looking for the flip. Webweaver made it through the bottom wall. Honestly, that's about as much as you can hope for. I think they should be satisfied with getting this fort. Keeps the game in a very even position. Actually, structurally, they're ahead.
That Alliance banner looks good on this map.
I can dig it.
The big crest? Oh my goodness, but the action up here, we got the cleanse. Again, the Indomitable on Jin was forced to be used, but the Finn going in forces out the Tazingo. That's going to send him flying, but the combo there from Vala will secure another kill. That is 3 kills to 0. Good follow-up there. Swabs Magoo and Draded putting the pressure on.
That isolation, you know, Zul'jin ran, but it just, there was no way to get home, unfortunately. This team was too far. On top of that, Jin is currently looking. He's thinking, how can I trick him into getting the Q? And well, he got tricked because they turned their focus to LZ. During all that time, Draded dropped off some gems, more web weavers en route for imported support, who are looking to finally take an edge in XP. Considering they've weakened up a lot of these towers and walls, yes, they will receive a surge of experience, pretty much guaranteed. But if the bodies start falling, it could be a lot more than just a little bit of XP.
The defense is here. We saw little to no gain in the first Web Weaver phase for imported support. They're posturing up just a little bit. There's going to be the blow-up composition onto LZ Gamer. He's going to live, but Jin might not have the same fate, and that is going to be Greymane, or excuse me, Greymane living as Garrosh goes down.
Yeah. The loss of Garrosh is also the loss of a lot of gems. This was a sound defense beyond that, as Zul'jin and Tassadar were able to hold onto their lanes rather well, just losing some towers, which was a guarantee more or less. But now they need to be careful. Tassadar is Tassadar. Yes, he can get away from a lot of bad situations. Dimensional Shift only gets you so far. And the Aware doesn't actually fit the Detainment Strike. Force Wall makes it out, but the Hungering Arrow finds its mark.
Got him. Imported support starting to stretch their lead a little bit, Jake. They're a ways off from another turn-in, but things spinning out of control ever so slightly. Soy debating on whether he wanted to go on and try and get some structure damage from 13. He's like, you know what? I've seen what's happened 5 times already. I'm not going to be the 6th.
Those 5 deaths, pretty evenly spread out. Just nice rotations and plays being made from imported. Their ability to disrupt and separate, even being the team that doesn't have force wall, has been quite good so far.
Jake, the initiation period has been rough. Think about the grenades that we saw from earlier Morales' is just Murden jumps in, he gets thrown right back out. But think about the grenades that we saw earlier. We haven't seen that setup, that displacement, allowing for Garrosh to get the value, the disruption that you hope to get, and Jin.
Be aware is just, whenever there's a Detainment Strike available, he hits it, and he hits it good, you know, against whatever structure, a wall, summoned, you know, structure. I love watching this guy play Ariel.
Specialty is going to be the one tossed into the backside. Ignition is going to join him back there, and they're trying to put the pressure on. Crystal Aegis just in time. The Emerald Wind's going to go out, but Cassia has gone down. Jin getting the heals for the moment. Elhaim trying to lend the support, but Elhaim's going to go down as he dove a little bit too far.
That Ariel heal just barely making it in time. Soyosari inches away from the Stormbolt thrown his way, and they make it an even trade. Medic for Cassia. But unfortunately, the favorable position still is imported support, as they're only a few gems shy of another turn-in, and that's what they're working towards right now. One more wave. Could be these guys.
And this is always those moments where I'm like, you know what? It actually wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you get your Web Weavers turned in just to try and close that experience gap. If you're on the side of Donkey Zaras, you're not going to get that max value, but if you allow another turn-in and the 16 tier, you now find yourself in a tough, the dismount's there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the dismount is what they needed, but both those supports did have their CC available to deny the flip, the toss, and the kill.
Murden's like, I'm right where I want to be, right on top of the Morales, but now he's eating all kinds of damage. Crystal Aegis already out. Jin is very low. Crystal Aegis is not enough to secure the kill, and Stim Drone in return.
Tazdingo has been popped. The Emerald Wind actually denies him the value he would want to get. He has to retreat and just heal up behind that. Jin will be healed by Elhaim on the medic, and the double support disengage is true once more. Boss now being started with 16 in tow. Slice Blade does have the Oracle.
I don't know if this is the best call. You don't have 16 tier yet.
Yeah.
Emerald Wind is on cooldown.
Uh-oh. They don't have Emerald Wind. They don't have any heroics for that matter. And Jin is stepping in on the point. Polly allowing them to focus fairly well. The blinds denying Greymane any DPS from Cassia value for sure. There's the boss. And this is a disastrous moment.
There's a camp pushing mid, a boss pushing top. Ooh, the Hungering Arrow missed there, but you still have the support heals from Lieutenant Morales. They have enough for a turn in. Instead, they're going to try and maximize this push. That is a massive wave pushing middle. The boss, very healthy top lane. This is about to spiral out of control, Jake, because they're going to get a turn in behind this. And to be honest with you, if they get a pick or two here, this might just be game.
I think it's going to be a tough one to come back here. Like you said, step out a little bit too far, you die. All those heroics that we talked about that were cooldown, they're all ready. Specialty is going to need the Crystal Aegis at this rate. It's going to be good. And as it explodes, big damage. No, not onto Jin quite, but the Stray follow-up is going to try to find that kill. We see the Taz Dingo once again keeping Zul'jin alive, but Greymane does not have that kind of utility. This could be it, J-How.
They got the pick that they needed. They're going to push onto the core. Can Imported Support 3-0 this series to move on to the winner's bracket finals? The shields are falling, and now the core is taking damage.
Boss is dead. The focus is a little split, trying to force Jin away. They force the D-shift onto Tassadar, and they go in onto Jin once more. But the core is still strong, and those health bars are not. It's going to be a 1-for-1 there. But the mana bars are running dangerously low for the aggressive side of Imported Support. Oh, this is tough.
Greymane going in, trying to confirm the kill, but Cassia somehow goes from 0.
That face shield.
It's just instantly 100% health.
Emerald Wind. I don't even know if there's enough mana from Brightwing for it. They hold.
Or the Reservoir of Hope is gonna be those. It's like mini ancestrals at this point. Is that 8 stacks already?
I want to hear the raptor. What a nice sound.
8 stacks on Reservoir, is that right?
That's right.
Ooh. That is big heals. Big heals.
Through all the deaths and chaos that we had, many of the gems on the side of Donkeys R Us were lost. They've got 41 total, 25 now dropped off from Elahheim, putting them 30 away from a turn-in. Not bad, but they really need to find themselves with a turn-in and a push pre-20. One level left on the board before that is in their realm of possibilities, and it's not going to be easy to find that.
It's definitely not going to be easy now. Catapults are already pushed up into keep range.
Oh no.
And now you've got Web Weavers and an already softened up core, but Specialty eating a lot of damage one more time, but they can't get the kill. And the big heals come out, and Jin getting dangerously low.
Emerald Wind attempted once again to try to get that displacement onto Jin, but it wasn't quite in time. But Ignition does get in front of him for the body blocks. The heals from Elahheim have been plentiful, but the energy bar has now been depleted as they make it behind their wall. And they're looking to march on in. Web Weavers with 2 catapults, 3 catapults in the top lane. Bottom lane a little bit further away, so at least I don't have to worry about that. But this keep is going down, and they're going to, once again, try to pressure the core.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be it. I see no world where they can survive this push. Top Web Weaver did get cleared out. I'm surprised they weren't more aggressive in that top lane push. I see no world except for the world where you don't actually try. They're almost 20. I feel like they're waiting for 20 before they do anything. And by the time they're 20, the Web Weavers are going to be. The Web Weavers now attacking the
Jin
gate.
gets the pull-in that he's been looking for all game long, but doesn't work out for him. The strafe and the Cassia damage, just too much damage. Taz Dingo, Wada Wada Bingo, Soyosarian gets clapped to death. Well played. It's going to be Imported Support versus Heroes Hearth as our upper bracket finals.
I did not expect this style of 3-0.
It was pretty dominant.
I think it was 19 kills, 10
Yeah.
kills, and now 14 kills, which leads to Yes. But either way, 43 kills to, I think, a combined, it was like 3, 2, and 2? 43 to 7 kills in 3 games.
You're just saying numbers to me.
I'm pretty sure they're accurate.
Proud of you. What I will say is, the way that we saw Imported Draft, DRU didn't really get to play their game that they excel at. We didn't see the classic LZ heroes. We saw LZ on Stukov,
Stukov and Greymane.
and Greymane. Those are the only heroes he played in the series. And the Greymane looked fine. I wouldn't say it looked amazing or anything. It looked fine. But LZ really excels at, Malthael and Illidan and Daka and
There's a lot to me that just felt off.
Yeah, it just felt like they were almost trying to change the way that they excel at playing the game. And yes, being flexible and being able to play multiple styles is obviously the mark of an amazing team, but we didn't see that play that I like to see from DRU.
It felt weird.
It's doubly limb, so I hope we see it in the lower bracket.
No LZ on the hyper aggressive melees. No Soya Saren on any of the mages.
Yeah,
yes, you're going against double support, but I feel like the way that they play had a place.
No.
Even if you go to those battlegrounds and you have the style of the split push Illidan, they didn't do anything that controlled the battleground. Instead, they played it into the draft. They got out-drafted playing something they're not comfortable with. Specialty and team. I mean, the Aware, we said his name a lot last phase. It didn't seem like I said it as much this season, but he hasn't gotten anywhere.
Yeah.
If only he's gotten better. And so we see a lot of these players making the same plays. So big shout-outs to Imported. I just don't feel that Donkeys, that was the best punch that they had. And they definitely came up short against Imported support in this series. But it is double elimination, so always have a chance if you can play your way back in the lower bracket.
But it definitely sets us up for an interesting and exciting day 2. Day 2 tomorrow. We'll actually start out with Donkeys Are Us versus Operative Esports. We saw our Operative fall in round 1 to Team Numerics, and that is Seed 2 versus Seed 4 at the start of the day. After that series, we actually go down to Team Name Change versus Trademark Gaming, and Team Name Change obviously played very well earlier today.
Team Numerics.
They used to be Team Name Change. Or there used to be a TNC. I always read TNC, which used to be Team Numerics, excuse me, did win 2-0 in the lower bracket. So, good starts for them. That was TMG. They went straight to round 2. Then, when we get up to the upper bracket for tomorrow, Imported Support versus Heroes Hearth, that'll be a best of 5.
It's our nightcap tomorrow, too.
Yeah. That's our only best of 5 tomorrow, though. We got 2 best of 3s and 1 best of 5. And then Wednesday, we got a best of 3 loser semis, a best of 5 losers finals.
But you know what happens tomorrow night? At the end of the night, one team guarantees themselves a spot at the Crucible. Whether it's first or second, we find out on the last day.
Yeah.
But just taking that step tomorrow night, that's a pretty big step.
Yeah, you're right. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. So make sure you hit that follow button here on Arcane 8. We've got 2 more Knights of Open Division. Jay Howe and I have flown to Blizzard for this glorious cast. The Crucible is days away as well. This is the season of changing. The leaves are falling.
Beautiful weather here today. I got off my plane in Denver. I'm like, it's cold. I got off my plane here in Santa Ana. I'm like, it's nice. It's nice.
Jay Howe, where can all these lovely people follow you?
Yeah, I was gonna say probably in bed, but I'm going straight to sleep. But just Twitter, J How Gaming.
Jay Howe,
right there.
you got yelled at for my pose earlier. They don't like my pose. Put your hand on my shoulder. Recreate it. He won't do it. Follow us, guys, here on Arcane 8. That's all I can ask. It's been a long day for us. We're on the East Coast time flying in, and thank you all for tuning in. It's been great. The games were really fun today, and it's only going to get better. We'll see you tomorrow night. GG's.